Hello, boys and girls from Hopkins Hill School. It's Mrs. Kowal here, and I'm going to be reading to you from our one-read book, Poppy. Mrs. Capobianco asked me to wear my stethoscope so you'd know it was me because I'm reading to you from my home. So I'm in a different environment than you're used to seeing me. And this is actually the third time I make a video. I'm learning. The first couple of times I made them, I couldn't figure out how to upload them onto YouTube. So I'm hoping this time, under this format, I'll be able to. I also wanted to tell you that before I read a book, I like to wonder. So I kind of look at the cover and I see what it's about and I ask myself questions. So I know that Avi's already read the first 3 chapters for us, so we have some information, but I still am wondering. So I'm going to share with you my thoughts up to now. So when I looked at this picture, the first thing I wondered was, is this mouse Poppy? And as Avi was reading, I got some answers. So what I found out first was that there's a deer mouse named Poppy. In the book, she seems to be the main character. There's also her friend, who is a golden mouse, and his name is Ragweed. And Ragweed wears an earring in his left ear. So I looked at this picture, and it's like, look, left ear, earring. So maybe this isn't Poppy, as the title is. Maybe this is Ragweed. So with further reading, we found out that Avi, when he was reading to us, described Poppy as being a deer mouse that had a white stomach. So, yep, white stomach here. Maybe this is Poppy. What about that earring? I'm not sure. So we read further, and he described Ragweed as being a golden mouse and a golden color all over, no white. So can't be Ragweed, because Ragweed, this mouse, has white. So it's got to be Poppy. But Poppy doesn't have an earring. Ragweed has an earring. So I'm trying to figure that out. Then a little bit later, we learn that Mr. Okax, the owl, eats Ragweed, earring and all. So now I really wonder if the owl ate Ragweed and he had the earring and Mr. Okax ate him and has the earring in his belly, how does Poppy have the earring? So then a little bit further, as Avi was reading, we found out that Mr. Okax belched. And I know as a nurse that belching means a big burp. And it's just the medical way of saying burping. And when he burped, he brought up a pellet, which owls burp up pellets from the food they eat. And the pellets contain fur and bones. And in this case, it also contains Ragweed's earring. And the pellet fell to the forest floor into a pile of pellets. And I remember from Avi reading that we're not quite sure where Mr. Okax lives in the forest, but somewhere in that forest there's a pile of pellets and Ragweed's earring is there. So how does Poppy have Ragweed's earring in her ear? Is it a different earring? I don't know. These are the things I wonder about, and that's why I'm excited about reading this book. So we're going to be on reading chapter 4, which starts on page number 25, and it's called The Emergency Meeting. If you remember right, Poppy was coming back from her great escape from Mr. Okax, and on arriving back home, she saw a red flag, and the red flag meant that there was a meeting. So here we go. Poppy ran across the lopsided porch and into the parlor. The whole family had indeed gathered. Poppy's father, thimble on his head, was on his accustomed perch atop an old straw hat, already addressing the crowd. The moment Poppy entered the room, he saw her.
"Oh, Poppy," he cried. "You're late, but at least you're here."
All the mice, a sea of ears, eyes, pink noses, and whiskers, turned to look at her.
"But where's Ragweed?"
Lugwort demanded.
"Wasn't he with you? Do you think he'll have the common decency, not to mention courtesy, to consider joining us at this moment of crisis? Or is he beyond all that?"
With so many fixed eyes on her, Poppy could not speak.
"Well, Poppy," Lungwort asked, "do you know where your friend is?"
Poppy stammered, May I tell you after the meeting?" Lungwort murmured,
as well as a "I suppose" and "thoughtless children," concluding with "just take your place, please."
Poppy slipped forward and crouched down next to Basil, her favorite younger cousin. "Where have you guys been?" Basil whispered. "Out," Poppy replied weakly. "You don't look so good. What happened to your nose?" "I can't explain now." "And where is Radweed?" "Later," Poppy insisted. Basil gave his cousin a questioning look but held his tongue. Lungwat leaned over the crown of the farmer's hat, tapped his thimbled cap, and held up a paw to command silence.
"For Poppy's sake," he began, "I'll review what I've said already. Our family has grown very large, so large, in fact, that there is not enough food in this neighborhood to feed us all. Indeed, our family is still an expanding one."
He nodded to sweet Cicely, who smiled wanly in dutiful recognition of the remark.
"For example," Lungwort continued, "my wife and I have 75 children, who in turn have given us 40 grandchildren, 20 great-grandchildren, and 12 great-great-grandchildren."
This remark was greeted by the assembled mice with a generous tapping of tails upon the floor. Lungwort dipped his head in acknowledgment of the tribute. Then he went on.
"The truth is, by my calculations, our current rate of population growth, and it's this I was about to say when Poppy arrived, promises serious food shortages, sickness, and, yes, death. Unless we take action within the next few days."
There was an immediate buzz, a squeak among the family. "Good grief! How awful! What we do now? Who would have guessed?" Lungwort raised